Are you still into minimalism? Because that is so 2019. So apparently, minimalism is dead. It is on its way out, the trend is fading, and there have been a few videos posted recently about this from other creators, and since minimalism is one of the things I talk about on this channel, I thought it would be fun to join the conversation and share my 2 cents about it all. So, is minimalism really dead? And if so, what does that mean for me and perhaps you, who are interested in living a life with less? This is going to be a nice cozy chat. I have some herbal tea here, so feel free to pause the video, grab something nice for yourself if you like, and let's get into it. Welcome back, and if you're new here, hi, my name is Vera, and on this channel you can find tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier, and calmer life. So feel free to hit subscribe down below if you want to stick around. So when we say that minimalism is over or that it's on its way out, what we mean to say is that it is becoming less trendy. And this is something that you can clearly see when you look up the online searches of the term minimalism over the last 5 years. Over the last decade or so, minimalism has really grown as a movement. But of course, minimalism has been around much longer than that, and it goes way back. And the term minimalism started getting used more and more frequently in the 50s in art and design. And recently, over the last 10 years or so, minimalism and decluttering have become way more popular in terms of lifestyle, with people starting to adopt the phrase less is more, and they started to declutter their homes and get rid of things that were not essential or valuable to them. Minimalism as a lifestyle spoke to many different people in different ways. So on the one hand, you have people who adopted extreme minimalism and started living from a backpack or got rid of all of their furniture. And then on the other hand, you have people who saw something in minimalism that could help them live more meaningful lives simply by getting rid of some of the things that they no longer needed. As well as a way to challenge our consumer society, minimalism gave people a context to think about what they were purchasing and if these things were truly adding to their happiness, or if perhaps the constant pursuit of more stuff, better stuff, more expensive stuff was actually not adding to their happiness at all, and perhaps even distracting them from the things that truly matter. For me personally, I have been a minimalist for about 9 years now, so close to a decade, and I started doing it before I even heard of the term minimalism. It was very much driven from the inside out for me, and only later did I find out that this was actually a thing and that more people were doing it, and then I started to learn more about it. I started Simple Happy Zen, the YouTube channel, in 2017, and the funny thing is that my channel had a bit of a slow start at first, but it started growing when I started making videos about minimalism and decluttering. This was very exciting for me, and I remember one of the first minimalism related videos that I posted, it was called 15 Things I Don't Buy, that suddenly got so many comments from all these people who resonated with it. To illustrate, these were my channel views the first year after starting, and this is when I started making minimalism related videos. Back then, if creators put the word minimalism in the video title, it was a very good chance that the video would do very well. And as someone who has continued making minimalism videos among other topics over the years, I can definitely see a change here. And right now, if you put minimalism in the title, it's not guaranteed that your video is going to get tons and tons of views. Even though if the video title is interesting, it can still do very well. The reason that minimalism is becoming less trendy is just because that is what trends do. Something can suddenly become very popular, and then after a while, it starts to become more normal and widespread. People know what it is. It's not so much a trend anymore. It's not as new and fresh and exciting, and it loses that initial sense of, wow, have you tried this new thing? However, while I think that minimalism as a trend is fading, minimalism, the lifestyle, is definitely not. I think it's here to stay, and it can even provide us with an interesting opportunity, the fact that the trend is fading, for getting even more from this lifestyle, which I will talk more about in a bit. One other thing that I think could have played a part in all of this is the pandemic. And over the last 2 years or so, things have changed drastically. And this was actually very visible for me as a creator when my channel views had a very significant drop right when the pandemic started. I think this makes total sense when life gets that scary and unsure, and when things change as much as they did. Minimalism is probably not on the forefront of people's minds. We go more into survival mode, and suddenly the focus of having less stuff around us doesn't really seem that important. With the lockdowns, we also started spending most of our time in our own home, making us perhaps want to make our space more cozy or less sparsely decorated. Maybe we wanted to buy some things to actually do around the house, or maybe even we did a little comfort shopping because we felt that threatened. I know for us, we did actually buy one extra thing right when the first lockdown started here in the Netherlands, and we couldn't do anything outside of the house. And that was a Nintendo Switch handheld console, so that if both of us wanted to play a video game, one person could use the PlayStation and the other could use the Switch. I do, however, think that minimalism is here to stay, and I even think that in strange and uncertain times like these, we might even need it more than ever, because it provides a way for us to focus less on the distractions and more on the things that really matter. So we can make more intentional decisions that actually serve us and the people we love, and that can help us to be happy and healthy individuals, keep our cups filled, so that we can also then help those around us. To me, minimalism is only a part of the story of living a simpler, happier, and calmer life. And that is why, apart from minimalism, I also make videos about other topics like intentional living, slowing down, self-care, mindfulness, happiness, because I think these topics work very well together. And so while I will definitely continue to make minimalism and decluttering videos, I will also keep branching out a bit and discussing other meaningful topics. This also helps to keep things fresh for me as someone who works as a creative. It helps to keep my content new and inspiring. Like, for example, some recent videos I posted about my experience with burnout, how I learned to just be happy, or mindset habits for a simpler and happier life. And of course, as long as there are companies that are trying to convince us that we aren't good enough unless we buy their product, or that we would be happier if we became their customer, minimalism can still be used as a way to challenge the status quo and be more mindful with our shopping and our consuming. Because I've read that the average person is still exposed to 4,000 to 10,000 ads per day. I know I mentioned this a lot, but minimalism isn't just about the pursuit of having less stuff. It's about what we can create more of through less. So we are not wasting our time and energy and money cruising for things to buy, and we're also not distracted in our home, in our space, by all of the things that we own that demand our attention. And that leaves us free for, that's actually something that you can decide. So which things give you meaning and purpose and fulfillment, perhaps family, or health and exercise, or some kind of exciting hobby or passion project, or nature or travel or something else entirely. That is up to you. And minimalism, therefore, it's not a magical solution to happiness, but it leaves the way free for us to pursue what makes us happy. And therefore, I think it'll always be around. The fact that minimalism is becoming less of a trend can actually provide us with a very interesting opportunity to kind of get rid of that label or that strict idea of what we think minimalism should be, and to kind of pause and take a little break and see what else is out there. Because labels like this is what minimalism should be, or this is what minimalism should look like, can also be restrictive, and what works for one person and their life and personality and family situation and their job, etc., might not work for someone else. But that doesn't mean that both of these people couldn't benefit from minimalism. It just means that we can all make it our own, and to have that concept of less stuff, less burdens, less clutter, less distractions work for us. For me, I know that minimalism will always be a part of my life. I started doing it not because it was a trend, but because it spoke to me, and I can honestly say that it has helped me in many different ways, and some of them were actually very surprising. It brought a huge paradigm shift for me because I used to be a person who did think that more was better and that buying new clothes and new makeup would somehow make me feel more confident, and that having 20 different handbags that I never use was better than having one handbag that I use every day. And through not just minimalism, but also things like intentional living, mindfulness, self-care, slow living, things are very different for me now, and I can definitely say that I am happier, calmer, less stressed, more content, more satisfied, more focused, among other things. In the end, it doesn't really matter if what you are interested in is trendy at that point in time. What matters more is finding something that speaks to you and that works for you and that helps you to live the life you want to live. And so whether you've been a minimalist for a while or you're just starting to learn more about it and you're just starting to declutter your home or change the way you buy new things, there is definitely still a place for you. You can still start this new lifestyle if you want, and you can definitely also keep it going for a long, long time, even after it has stopped being trendy and hip and new. Of course, I also want to know your thoughts about it. Do you think minimalism is dead, and what do you feel about it? Let's have that conversation down in the comments. And if you'd like to see more content from me about minimalism, but also about other things that have to do with living a simple, happy, and calm life, then be sure to hit subscribe so you can follow along with future videos. And if you want to give this one a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate that as well. Right here is a video with how I learned to just be happy, and right here is a video with minimalism rules I don't follow. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Have a lovely day, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.